It's beefy, baby.
Hey.
My name is Luke Hodson.
Alex Morrison.
Hey.
You ready? I'm ready.
It's a movie podcast.
Hey.
Let's get it.
Hey.
Grease-soaked mess.
It's a movie podcast.
Hey. Rated PG-13. Hey.
Your mom didn't make that casserole.
Beef.
We're here, everyone.
What?
Yeah. This is so exciting.
It is.
You know why it's exciting, everyone?
Why?
It's twofold because one, Luke is in town again.
I am here. I'm in my room, my bedroom.
He's been grabbing my ankles for the last couple of days just so I know that he's here.
Yep.
It's been so sweet.
As is tradition.
As is tradition every day.
To grab your buddy's ankles.
Yeah.
Give him a little twist.
Extra tight when it's been a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, it is our mid-season finale.
Happy mid-season finale.
Happy 20 episodes.
Woo!
20
crazy.
episodes.
Crazy bonkers. To think that we started this all off with Terraform Mars.
Terraform Mars and Predator.
And Predator.
That is crazy. Welcome to the 20th episode of the Bucket of Beef Show. My name is Alex Morrison.
My name is Luke Hodson.
And we're entirely switching up the whole deal this week.
We are for the mid-season finale.
For the mid-season finale.
/ 20th episode spectacular.
20th episode spectacular.
Yep.
Where are the fireworks?
It was the spectacular Spider-Man.
Ah! For this episode, we watched 2023's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
The first 10 minutes of this podcast are going to be spoiler-free.
For those of you that have not seen it.
And then we're going to be little gremlins, and we're going to spoil it and turn over the rocks.
We're going to
see
talk
what
about
kind
this
of
whole
little grubs
thing.
lay underneath.
It was so difficult to not talk about this last night.
Yeah, we went to a pretty late showing, and it's like it's like a good movie when like so we started the movie at like 10:15 or something.
Yeah,
we got out of the theater at probably like 1:30.
Yeah,
maybe later.
It was crazy.
It was almost 2, and
it flew.
It was one of those things where like I looked at my phone and I was like, no way.
Yeah, right.
It's that late. Like that's crazy. This felt like it was a 45-minute long movie.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something, right?
I had no idea of the runtime. I was just letting this movie take me.
I think it's about that. Like,
yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
2
hours 16, actually.
2 hours and 16 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So I will put in some timestamps so that you know when we're going to get into spoiler territory. We're going to talk about nothing that is not already in the trailers. But go see this movie as quickly as you can. And if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, watch that first, obviously.
Yes.
This is a direct sequel. It's not like some animated films where like it's a completely different plot deal. Like it has very much to do with things that happen in the first Spider-Verse.
Yeah. And they do a lot of like rehashing of like explaining what happened.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie. Like they do a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into it a little bit. Do you want to hit a synopsis?
I think you should hit a synopsis since this is your
okay.
This is your pride.
My pride.
Yeah. This is your pride movie.
Okay, so keeping it light and non-spoiler-ish. Miles Morales, we meet that boy again. He's still wearing a black suit and he's in Brooklyn, New York. Spider-Gwen is also present at some point. There are lots of spider people. And there's one Miguel O'Hara from 2099. And what stuff happens? The Spot is a villain.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the trailer. I didn't give anything away. What else is in the trailer?
Will the spiders be able to defend the multiverse from utter destruction?
Yes, yeah. The spiders. That's pretty much all you can say about it without
without
really getting into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just kind of we're going to try and manage this really well.
Let's do it. We're really good at that.
We are super good at that. But we didn't do a question or anything of the day.
Is Spider-Man your favorite superhero?
Yes.
It is.
I think so,
He
yeah.
is.
They are, yeah.
Or...
I feel like there's the relatability behind Spider-Man is just, it's always present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of always been that way. That's why he's like everyone's favorite superhero at all times.
Because like anybody could be Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah. And Stanley loved talking about like the relatability and the consistent problems that he was like going through.
Yeah.
that everyone just kind of dealt with, and it
Yeah.
was like, yeah, fuck yeah, we love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
Well, it is cool because Spider-Man's biggest problems are largely his own personal problems.
yeah,
They're not like, it's not the same as like Tony Stark is like being blackmailed for $1 billion.
yeah,
and,
it's like no,
and
man,
the United Nations is like gonna be tricked by a global terrorist force. That's,
Peter Parker might lose his home on
Yeah.
any given day because he's deciding to
yeah,
save
or
people.
he's like he's keeps being chronically late to his appointments.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
it's lots of issues, but this really put a lot of stuff in perspective for me for Miles too. Really solidifying why I wish I had this character when I was younger, but also like
Miles is a great fucking character.
a great character.
He's so good, and he's also made better by how good his parents are. His parents are so
They're
good.
so good.
They're so nice.
See, we can talk about I mean the relationship with his parents is so real.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very real relationship, and the stuff that he's dealing with, kind of like Peter Parker, it's like it's the usual stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
But seeing it in the context of Jefferson Davis and Rio Morales is like, it's really cool.
It is.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very refreshing to the story.
Mm-hmm.
We get the villain, there is one. I don't know. We're gonna get into it later. We can't get into that.
Yeah. The villain's good.
Villain's good.
I like the villain a lot.
Villain's good. We get a lot more with Miles and Gwen in this. We get a lot of story with Gwen in this movie.
Much more. Yeah.
Um,
She's probably like the second most fleshed out character.
Yeah.
Fleshed out character.
and
in
stuff
the-
that was
in the
really
movie.
peaked at in the first one that I didn't think they would come back to.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they do like okay, we're doing this one last time. Hi, I'm Gwen Stacy or whatever, and like there are bits in that kind of come back, and you're like, whoa, that's neat.
Yeah.
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 And of course we visit the multiverse, and there are so many fun places that we go. The places that were shown in the trailers were Mumbattan.
Oh, did they show that in the trailers?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was a surprise for me. I didn't remember that one being teased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is in the trailers. We also we assume that we're going to 2099.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like the Spider Society Hall.
Mm-hmm.
We see so many.
Yeah.
So many.
There are plenty of them.
From movies and video games and all over the place. Like
Yeah.
there was a surprise for everyone in there. But I mean, should we do like how like we like really felt overall about it before we do the spoilers?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you go for it?
There was just so much of and it's similar to the last one. Like they just clearly had so much fun working on this movie and making this movie. And this is like, again, it's like a comic book come to life on the screen, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really like, the performances are fantastic, but the visuals and the music
Stunning.
are absolutely
Stunning.
incredible. And it's just such a, like, film, like, this is one of those movies where you're like, yes, film is a visual medium, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many scenes that could be less powerful that are made, like, exceptionally poignant with the art direction in it. Like, the way that, and they're able to do a lot more cool shit with stuff because it's as if this is on a comic book panel.
Yeah.
You know?
Seamlessly integrating different
Yeah.
art styles into one frame.
Yeah,
It's so
and
cool.
so you can like in like simpler scenes between like two people, you can have like the background be really unlike the actual space that they're in,
Yeah.
and sort of embody the emotional life of the characters, like when scenes are happening, and that's really really cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a really cool mixture because there's a lot of things that like look really realistic, you know? There's a cool mixture of I guess not getting into spoilery stuff. There's a really cool mixture of different kind of mediums, film mediums in this
Yes, very much so.
in this movie. And yeah, I really liked the character. I liked the callbacks to the past movie. This still very much feels like a movie that anybody could just pick up and watch without seeing the first one. I think it definitely is much better as,
I don't know
a
if I necessarily
sequel.
agree with that per se.
Well, I feel like they just laid into it so heavily at the beginning, like
Sure.
for people that may not have seen the first one.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, if you haven't seen the first one, you should definitely watch the first one before seeing this, because it does make viewing this movie even better.
Yeah.
In my opinion, just a total treat. This is like, there's just so much imagination and joy and thought that went into this movie, and another cool thing about Spider-Man is like, it's like a really good simple meal. Like
I was just gonna say,
it's just filled with like so much like foundational stuff about life in general.
the through line of it is so clear, and they stick to it.
Yeah.
And you have every opportunity to like go off in different directions or like ruin a piece of the story for a joke, but like they're like, we're gonna stick to this through line, and whatever joke or like fantastic like artistic element, it's gonna be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like we're not like losing things for the sake
There's no
of-
like random scenes that get thrown in that feel like they're for laughs.
No.
Like everything's along the road, and you're just like passing by different things as you're driving down the highway.
Exactly. Yeah. And every action has a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this didn't feel like a movie for little kids. I think there was a point. I think it was right when
When the thing happened with the person.
Yeah. I'll say 30 minutes or so into the movie, I was like, okay, this is probably a little bit more for older audiences.
Even though it's rated PG.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
This movie goes hard for a PG movie.
It goes so hard for a PG
Yeah.
movie. Oh man, it's so good. But yeah, I think we'll save our rating for the end. I think.
Yeah. What are your spoiler-free thoughts? I kind of went off.
No, I mean everything you said. I very very much agree with. This movie takes its time. I mean, of course, like everyone had fun making it, and you can feel that. You felt that with the first one, but I think this one was definitely more on par with a character study, on top of like the really 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 fun things. But like when there were moments that were quiet, they were quiet, and you just had to sit in it.
Yeah.
And be with it. And I found myself like there would be like an action sequence. I was like go 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 go, and like it would stop, and I'd be like, all right, next one has to be coming soon.
And then it just didn't.
And then it just didn't.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I'll sit down. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I felt this movie had like my brain strapped in. I was like in the harness after a little bit, and I was just like, just gotta be with it, man.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that felt so cool because it's been such a long time since like I've gone to the movie theaters and felt that. You know what I mean? Like we've watched a lot of fun movies for this podcast, and some of them have been some of the best movies I've ever seen. But like, this is of course like in my sphere of things that I like to watch, and then to also have that feeling I haven't felt since like, I don't know, like the gravity of certain situations. You know, I feel like the last time I felt that was Infinity War, in the same sphere, and then prior to that, X-Men: Days of Future Past. But like, yeah, I had a fantastic time. Miles is a incredible character,
A true Spiderman.
a true Spiderman, for so many more reasons.
I
now,
know.
that
Yeah.
like, whether it's a character thing or like an external thing
Yeah.
that happens.
I will say this, and I don't think that this is really much of a spoiler. Like, just the confidence that Miles has in like certain aspects of his life and within this film are like so fucking awesome to see.
And they also just hit home more because of his family. Like his family
Yeah.
instills a lot of that in
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
And you see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought this was fantastic. This movie is fucking awesome. I'm ready to jump into the spoilers.
Let's do it.
I really want to. We gotta
5, 4, 3, 2.
come back to the end. We'll tell you.
1.
We'll give you our beef score.
Interdimensional gate closing. Spoiler time. Hi, I'm Spider Spoiler. You might wonder how I got into this situation.
No, you have to say. Let's see. I'm gonna do this one last time. That's what you gotta
Okay,
start.
I'm gonna do this one last time. Yeah, I get it. My name's Spoiler Spider. I got hit by the spoiler of a fancy car that was being driven by a radioactive spider. What I didn't know is that spider had recently worked on the spoiler, and it got venom all over it.
Oh.
Now I'm half car, half spider. All gumption.
All gumption, baby.
My nemesis is Big Wheel. If you don't know who Big Wheel is, look it up.
Spider-Man villain, which I had no idea about.
Yeah, I was really proud that Alex didn't know who Big Wheel was. You better look up Big Wheel. Big Wheel better be in some kind of future Spider-Man endeavor.
In Beyond the Spider-Verse.
I want Lego Spider-Man's villain to be Big Wheel.
Yeah.
And he's just like crushing the city with his big wheel.
So this movie, the first 25-ish minutes is a Gwen Stacy deal.
Yeah.
And I was so taken aback by it. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, this is a girls' movie.
Yeah, I know. But I was like, yo, like, and this is when you got to see like the first bending art style where like her whole thing is like it's like watercolor paint.
Yeah, she has a really cool art style.
Like I was obsessed, and like the way that her world kind of shimmers too, along with the watercolors and stuff. I was like, this is absolutely gorgeous. And the vulture in it, like the words and like the Da Vinci.
Yeah, he was like it was like a Da Vinci drawing, basically.
But he would do certain things, and you would straight up see like Italian wordage, and I'm like, that's so cool.
I liked his little the way that the animation for this is really cool. The animation for individual characters is really cool. The animation for each character's individual fighting style is also crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking unique.
I kept noticing with her, too, like, every time she would land, when she was, like, swinging, it was always on, like, pointed toe and very graceful, and you're like...
Well, because for her, like, is it Mission? Is that... What's the school that Miles goes to?
Visions. It's a gymnastics school.
Yeah, in her world, it's a gymnastics school.
Yeah.
And in his world, it's like it's like a technical high school, basically. Which is awesome. Yeah, just all the like subtle variations and everything. Her dad is also a cop, but he's like very anti-Spider-Man,
which is very canonical.
Oh yeah,
it's very canonical,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like Gwen Stacy, like in like the Amazing Spider-Man, for example, like the Andrew Garfield movie, like Gwen Stacy's dad was the captain, and he was like not a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah,
you know. How'd you like I really liked the little twist that they threw in there. Not really a twist, but they were like, my Peter became the Lizard.
Yeah,
basically.
No. I thought that was so cool because, like, when you watch the first movie, they show her holding Peter, and it looks like he could be wearing red and blue and have, like, pants on. Like, it was the Peter that, like, we also meet in the first Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a younger Peter, and he's just trying to, like... You know,
be strong like her.
Yeah. Oh, it was so sad.
Because he knew it. He knew
so
it.
Cute. It was like My Girl. Have you ever seen My Girl?
I've never seen My Girl.
It's like the two nerds, and like Macaulay Culkin plays like this little boy with glasses, and he just wants to be like as strong as this other girl. And
really?
And he like dies because he's like trying to be brave like her.
No.
And it gave me vibes, and I was like, oh,
damn.
So, yeah, but. Crazy.
I also like how her version of the Lizard was like literally like a giant like mutant iguana.
Yeah.
Like not human, like not humanoid at all, just like a fucking beast.
Yeah. So she takes him down, and we get the Vulture, and the Vulture is there because of what happened in Into the Spider-Verse with the first.
Yeah, there's basically like little holes in the multiverse that are pulling in different villains.
Yeah, variants.
Yeah, like different variants, like into other dimensions that they're not supposed to be.
Because of the Kingpin Collider.
Yeah, and then that's how we get introduced to Miguel O'Hara's whole thing, where he's basically the leader of like the interdimensional Spider Force, and their whole mission is to maintain the canon of the world so that the universe doesn't fall apart,
collapsing on itself,
and reset basically.
Yeah,
because there isn't continuity.
We also met Jessica Drew.
Yeah,
who was very
pregnant. Oh,
which was
Spider
me.
Woman.
Yeah, Spider Woman. Yeah, which was like stressing me out the entire time.
Yeah,
I can't like do your thing, girl, but also like Miguel should have been like maybe not.
What stressed me out was Peter B. Parker carrying his fucking baby. what was his baby's name again?
Mayday Parker.
Mayday. Yeah, Mayday. Just carrying his baby around, fighting crime. What a guy.
On a train to the moon.
On a train to the moon.
Outside the train to the moon.
Yeah, come on.
Crazy.
Come on. I'm gonna go back. I really like the relationship that Gwen had with her dad. Like the whole thing when she's like fighting the Vulture, Miguel's helping her out, Spider-Woman's helping her out too, and they end up, taking Vulture away. They get it all done, and then she's like sitting in the ruins of the Guggenheim, basically.
Like hurt, whatever.
Yeah, and her dad finally catches Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
And like she takes off the mask and he's like doesn't know what to do. And at that ending of the scene where like they have this like they're having this huge like emotional discussion and debate basically about like what is right and what is wrong about this situation. And like as an audience member, you're kind of like maybe she won him over.
Yeah.
And then
you would think so, because that feels like a very parental thing to do.
Yeah.
Just to be like, this is my kid.
But then he just goes right into the Miranda rights again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn,
dude,
he doesn't.
no.
He is a lawman. He believes in right and wrong.
No, fuck that.
He does.
I also like when the big balloon statue fell over and there were more little balloon statues.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
And
that's,
she was
that's
like
cool.
explaining it. Yeah. Yeah. I also when the Vulture got out of the Guggenheim and he saw the world around him.
Yeah.
And he was like freaking out.
Yeah.
He was like and started glitching more.
Yeah. Because
he was just so confused. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we move on from that. She ends up joining this like interdimensional task force.
We basically skip 3 months.
Yeah, and then we skip 3 months.
Because that's that whole thing is just the cold open.
Yeah, that's basically like right after. Well, how long has it been since the first?
It's been a year and a half.
It's been a year and a half. Okay.
Because
Miles was only 14 in the first movie.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts.
So my fucking what Nicolas Cage is like, dude, your origin story is hardcore.
Yeah,
this whole thing is hardcore. Like that's pretty cool. But yeah, so he's a big boy now. He's like he's got thick shoulders. He has
he filled out a little bit more.
Blood armpits, whatever they kept saying.
Yeah, I don't know why they kept joking about the blood armpits. were his pits red?
Yeah, well, no, his whole arm, like down his arm, down his leg, was like a red streak.
Oh, okay.
So
I see.
That was their whole thing with that. They're like, nice blood armpits. So we pretty much go into like the day-to-day of Spider-Man, which is cool for us because, I mean, the last one we weren't living in Brooklyn. We live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And there are a couple points when you see like the Myrtle Avenue stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And we saw the B-46, which runs directly outside of our apartment.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Spider-Man's really just right outside. That's so cool.
Exactly. All the beef patties and everything.
Yeah, man.
You know?
That was cool. And we meet such a cool villain.
Yeah.
In Jason
Schwartz. Jason Schwartz. Change your name, bud.
As the Spot. And like, it was so fun actually, him being in the store. Like you don't really get the origin right there. He's just trying to like open the ATM machine.
And you really are thinking that he's gonna be like a villain of the week.
Yeah.
Type guy, you know.
And he's like really struggling. He's like trying to put the ATM through the floor, and then the guy sees him, and Spider-Man is just like heating up his empanada, like in the while the deli owner's like has a bat and is trying to chase this guy around the store. Like Spider-Man's like, I'm just gonna let him handle it for a second.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Very Spider-Man-esque, honestly.
Yeah. I like how Spot was kind of like a really duncy Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
At the beginning, basically, of this.
Oh my god, his evolution in this was fucking
is cool.
Awesome.
And they don't, like, I feel like he doesn't have a ton of screen time in this compared to a lot of the other characters.
No, because he's being chased through the multiverse, and like the moments that you see him, he's just like, he's like 50% stronger every time you see him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is really cool. Because he's just... So basically what... And all of you have seen this movie at this point, or if you like spoilers and you don't care. Just a quick little recap. Spot is basically... He finds out that he can travel through different dimensions because he's been affected by
The Collider.
the Collider explosion at the end of the first movie.
He's the guy who gets the bagel thrown at him.
Yeah, and he's the guy that gets the bagel thrown at him, which was a hilarious
That was
callback.
fucking awesome.
That was fucking hilarious. That the bagel guy was... That shows you how much the people that worked on this movie and the last movie loved the bagel part.
And are thinking about the entire story, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
But so basically his plan is to visit other dimensions that also have the same type of collider
At Alchemax.
at Alchemax, so he can get stronger and basically be strong enough to like be Spider-Man's main villain.
Yeah.
Basically. Because he's lost like everything because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He blames Spider-Man, not Kingpin, not industrial American capitalism.
No. But and we'll stick on the villain train for a second, then we'll kind of get back into like the story.
Yeah.
But like, I love this villain so much because you follow like through Miles' eyes. Like, he is a villain of the week. Like, he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, he's not giving him any attention in fights and stuff, and he's like, what the fuck, man?
He's also like doesn't even really know how to fight. He's just like trying to get through the motions and like figuring out his new like
it's like
whole power.
It's like having a puppy that's like a German Shepherd, and you don't really give any nurturingness to the puppy, and you're walking this dog on a leash, and one day the dog's really big, gets off the leash, and you're like,
yeah.
Because of just how, like, the moment that he hits that first collider and they're, like, chasing him, and he just starts, like, floating toward the collider, you're like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is really bad.
Yeah.
Or, like, when he's, like, walking toward it and he's just like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I was like, walk.
So cool. The design for his character is so cool.
Yeah.
Too.
He's like a sketch, too.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of, like, goes the reverse of his colors.
It's like what like a very like emotionally unstable 15-year-old draws in their journal.
Yeah.
Like
Honestly. And then he eventually just goes to completely black with, like, specks of white.
Yeah. He's like
void.
all spot now.
Yeah.
Before he was like a little cow guy.
Yeah.
Basically.
He's like showing Miles his future and shit, and he's
Yeah.
like, "You're dead, dude."
Yeah.
He's like, "You did this." This is...
Yeah.
And Miles is like, "Oh."
And it's also
shit."
so good because like it's really cool because you see him at his weakest when he first interacts with Miles, he like uses up all of his spot powers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like stuck as this like white canvas. And he like goes back and like tries to like synthesize his own like mini version of the Alchemax reactor in his apartment so he can like then get the power to go through dimensions again.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess not again, just to get the power to go through dimensions.
He doesn't even know that he can do that. Really,
He's just trying to get the spot
The
power
spots
back because
back.
he's like, well, if I'm gonna look like this, I might as well have my fucking spot powers.
Yeah.
And then you're right. He figures out how to travel through everything.
Yeah. Yes, very, very, very cool villain. You feel the gravity of him pretty instantly, and that's also why I was like, this reminds me of Infinity War and Days of Future Past, because once that threat is there, everyone is like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, and it's just so cool because you're like, he's at his weakest. Like he could have been caught, and it would have been a nothing problem.
If you put enough focus into the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And how, like, honestly, like, all the Spider people were trying to talk him down. Like, every Spider-Man would. And he's like, no.
Yeah. You're talking about Spot?
Yeah.
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 By the end, he's like, no.
Yeah. He's like,
You had your chance to take me seriously.
yeah, and you didn't.
You
and
treated
this
me
is
like
what you
dog
get.
shit. Now I'm gonna kill your father in every universe.
Fucked up. Okay, let's get back to the story at hand. So, we're seeing Miles go through this whole thing with Spot, but at the same time, we're with Rio, and I think his name is Jefferson in this.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah.
We're seeing them at Miles' school, and they're trying to talk about Miles' future, and Miles is just like, he's distant, but for a reason that they can't pinpoint.
Yeah, I think the first time that you see Miles' parents in this movie is when they're at his advisor meeting.
Yeah, they're at Visions and
basically,
with his advisor.
And they're like, we don't know where he is, but he's coming.
Yeah,
and then it's him doing all the
fighting with Spot or whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff. And they come back, and it's funny because he has a B in Spanish. And he is Spanish.
His mom is so pissed.
Yeah, because he missed like 6 classes or something like that. And then she's even more pissed.
Yeah. And they just don't know why.
Like, but you can go to Princeton. You'll get into Princeton, no problem.
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Because you're in a poor immigrant community. I like how
they're
I mean, we have like
they're like, Puerto Rico's in America. What are you talking about?
and they're like we own like pretty good property for New York.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it was cool though. But that's where a lot of the first initial personal conflict comes in. It's kind of, I mean, you can break it down to like a few things. You can break it down to his parents not recognizing that he's just getting older, and kind of just have to let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Breaking it down to saving who you can no matter what, and like who you're gonna or what you're gonna sacrifice to do it. You know. And then just like never give up on who you are.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think that's probably the most prominent one in here.
Yeah.
Which I imagine will be a prominent one in the third one for reasons we'll get into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's a party for Jeff because he is going to be promoted to captain at the
At the PDNY.
At the PDNY, yes. PDNY. Which is really cool. But then Gwen comes back. And Gwen is part of the Spider Force. She explains it. She starts talking.
It's a select group.
A
of
quote-unquote
elite
select
spiders.
group. Yeah. And there's Hobie and Jessica Drew.
My question is, did the Spider Brigade get set up after the events of the first movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's new.
It is new, yeah, because at the end of the first one, we meet Miguel O'Hara in the credits, and he's like, he gets like the watch or whatever.
Oh, that's when he finally makes the watch.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So it is fairly new.
Yeah.
But it's huge. Like, it's gigantic.
Yeah, it got huge immediately.
Yeah. And Miles, of course, is like, well, I feel like I'm elite. He's like, there's no reason I can't also be in this.
I got my Shocky power. I can turn invisible.
Yeah.
Like, come on, I got a bad bitch of a spider bite.
And Gwen is kind of trying to keep him at a distance, and we don't know why as the audience really yet, which I'm like, ooh, saucy, why? But they're still flirting super hard. I'm like, this is saucy.
And we hear about Hobie a little bit, like who the fuck
how
old
is
is Gwen supposed to be?
I think
in this?
his age, because she's still in school.
Gwen's also 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Hobie looks older.
Yeah, Hobie looks older, and she has a toothbrush over there.
Yeah. Well, she also doesn't have a home, really.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
They just like there were a lot of jokes that's like Hobie and Gwen are fucking.
Yeah,
basically.
there were a lot of.
There were like a few like little sexual jokes in here, like the joke with like what I can't remember. They're like talking about like what Miles' parents used to do for work.
Yeah.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like how they were able to afford certain things, and then Jeff was like, yeah, and your mom used to like, and she was like, hush,
don't.
She's like, don't. Like, what was she up to? What was Rio up to?
So yeah, there's so many cool jokes, but we get a lot of Gwen and Miles, and Gwen shows up to this party, and Rio steps in, and it made me cringe super hard because she's like, hey, who are you? What are you doing with my son? He has a lot of love in his heart. Don't ruin it. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so Gwen leaves because she is secretly monitoring the Spot.
Yes.
Because he is an anomaly within the multiverse. Because that's what they do. They monitor different anomalies. They find them.
I also like how she's always like, something's going wrong. She's like, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she did that because she didn't want them to know that she was with Miles.
Yeah.
That whole time. That's probably why.
Because Jessica Drew at some point is like, you were with him, weren't you?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Like,
yeah.
She clearly has talked about him.
Oh, for sure. Well, she's probably like tried to get him into the crew and stuff.
Yeah. But
And
she's
like,
she's had this watch for 3 months and hasn't visited him or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, why?
And none of them have.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Because it's too dangerous.
It's too dangerous, yeah. And so Gwen is freaking out because she sees through like 2099 technology that the Spot has made like a mini collider and is now using it to traverse bits of the multiverse to find another Alchemax thing.
Yeah. So
she's like, okay, I'm never gonna see you again, Miles. And Miles is secretly watching. He's like invisible.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene too.
Yeah.
Like that whole like goodbye, Miles, and he's right there.
Like they're face to face.
And he's doing like the upside down drop thing where they could kiss.
They could
kiss, but they don't. Because they're 15.
But they do not.
God damn it. This is a PG movie.
So they go. So Miles follows her into the Spider-Verse. We're officially in the Spider-Verse.
in Moonbatten.
Yeah, Moonbatten. Yeah.
Yeah, Moonbatten.
Which
whatever.
was so cool. It was so
crazy.
cool.
Huge city.
Huge. So many levels. Roma said that there were a lot of like legitimate like Mumbai places. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like- I mean, I wouldn't know, but like Roma would. And I'm
That's
like,
cool. What
that's
was that?
really
What was that
neat.
Spider-Man? He was just Spider-Man, right?
No, he had a name.
I don't know what it was. It was played by Karan Soni.
Who's in Deadpool and a couple of things. He's
Oh
very, very
yeah,
funny.
he's the driver.
The taxi
in-
driver, yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
I
can't remember.
Dupender.
Dupender.
Dopender.
Dopender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's excellent. And
Yeah.
I
The
think-
cast just says Spider-Man
yeah.
for it. Yeah.
But I have a hard time oscillating between him being my favorite Spider-Man and Hobie being my favorite Spider-Man. Like, I love how optimistic and like nothing wrong happens to me.
Yeah.
Like, I love him so much.
He's like, I don't work out because my body's great and I don't want to get too bulky.
and I don't wash my hair because jeans.
Yeah.
But he's like
It's
trying
all
to.
right, go off, Spider-Man.
Yeah, go off, Spider-Man. But they're like jumping around, and Gwen is pissed that Miles is there. And
It's like my romance is perfect. There's nothing wrong.
yeah, no, but he's like, yeah, like you guys, there's so much tension, and I just want to observe this. Like,
Yeah.
he's- and so they go to the Collider or whatever, and the Spot is there, and that's when he starts.
Spot is so badass
Yeah,
in this movie.
He starts getting mad scary in that part.
Yeah,
That's where he starts like phasing through different areas of Alchemax.
Yeah.
and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Did you also catch the Venom?
No, what was the Venom thing?
When the old lady in the store, when the Spot comes out and he's like going through dimensions the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and he grabs the pack of gum from the old lady.
Oh yeah, who was that?
That's Mrs. Chen from Venom.
Oh, okay. The Tom Hardy Venom?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I
And
see.
He grabs a pack of gum and it's called Venomint.
Oh, nice. I liked her a lot.
Yeah, Mrs.
And
Chen is great.
I had no idea who she was, and I was like, she seems like a badass.
He's like you've dealt with this type of stuff before, and she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really neat. So then this is where we get introduced to the canon thing.
Yes.
So you want to talk about what that is?
Yeah, so basically the main purpose of this spider brigade, this interdimensional spider force, is to make sure that the canon for all Spider-Men that connects all Spider-Men and women and spider things remains intact, basically. So there's a set of like specific Spider-Man events that have to happen in each Spider-Man world, or else the canon gets disrupted.
And we'll destroy that universe.
And we'll destroy
potentially
that universe.
all
Yeah,
other spider
and potentially other
universes.
ones. So, and basically, Miguel found out about this like instability in the universe because he. I can't remember exactly what he had lost in his actual dimension.
He didn't. He just like he found a universe where like he had a family and like was happy.
Oh,
And
okay.
he had died in that universe.
Yeah, so then he replaced that version of himself, and then that dimension crumbled and was destroyed. I don't know how he got out of there.
Yeah.
But I also do like how different he is from all the other spider people. And like Miles was like when he's running from him, this is kind of skipping ahead. He's like, are you even a Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
because he has this like vampire like serum thing that he has to like.
Yeah, which I feel it's gonna be talked
Taking
about in the
shit.
next movie
Yeah,
for sure.
Like I'm really curious about that.
I think because he's like I think he's legitimately a vampire, and that like keeps him from biting and killing people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
seems to be. I'm not entirely sure.
And the anime, like the look of Miguel O'Hara is way different than what I thought it was gonna look like.
yeah.
It's kind of like there's this comic book called it's this graphic novel called like Wolf Among Us or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Wolf Among Us. That was a Telltale's series.
Yeah. Like his style looks a lot like Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it's like a beast kind of like. I'm showing Alex what it looks like right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that really similar?
It is very very
Yeah.
similar. Yeah. Like the hard lines too.
Yeah, exactly. And like the furrowed brow and like even the longer hair like in this.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
very much the style for
Yeah.
sure. Just because I don't want to. Sorry, I was trying to make sure because his phone was really close to the microphone. I didn't want it to peak the microphone. If it peaked, I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. I don't think it did that.
I don't think so either. It looks fine. But yeah, Miguel was cool.
Yeah.
Where were we?
So basically, I mean, if we are trying to go through the story beat by beat here,
Oh, we
not
shouldn't
necessarily
do that.
beat, but
There's just so much to talk about.
yeah. So
Well, we were talking about the canon events.
basically, there's the huge There's then this huge explosion that happens at the Alchemex, reactor because the Spot destroys it, basically absorbs its power, and then leaves and is like, "You're fucking in for it, my guy. Good luck."
Yeah, he really is like, good luck.
Yeah, he's like, "It's over now."
But it is cool, like the part where they're saving that entire bridge. It's like they're doing levels coming down to the bridge, where they're like, okay, we stopped this giant piece of rubble from killing all these people. Now we have to jump down even further to move people out of the way of this piece of this building.
Yeah, and what's cool is like this whole time you're like they're like there's like we're detecting like a canon shattering event that's coming up, like look out. And like as a viewer you're convinced that it's all the shit that Spot's doing.
Yeah.
Cuz he's like going through all these dimensions, he's like changing everything up, like he's not supposed to be there. And they get to this point where the Spider-Man of Moonbatten is, or Moonbatten, however it's pronounced.
Yeah, he has the option to save like his girlfriend or his girlfriend's dad, who's the captain, whose name is Captain
who's
Singh.
saving a little girl.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't do both. I can't do both.
Who's saying he can? He's like, I can do both. I can do both. I can do
he
both.
is saying he can do both. And they're like, you can't. And then so Miles goes, saves his love interest's dad and the
And
kid.
Gwen is trying to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gwen's trying to stop it, yeah. And then you end up realizing later on that Miles wasn't invited to be part of the Spider Crew because he is like one of the only variants, basically, that's in the universe. Because the spider,
It's so
because
cool.
the spider that bit him wasn't from his dimension.
I just want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I want to talk about it.
and that's essentially why, like in the universe, the universe like balances itself out by killing its current Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That
aspect makes Miles Morales as a character in totality. This movie comes out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In totality now, this character is going to be in the upper echelon of superheroes. Because he is an anomaly within the entire Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And that is so sick. Like,
It is.
He was bitten by a spider that is not even from his dimension. And now he's completely questioning if he's Spider-Man or not.
Yeah.
If he deserves to be Spider-Man. An entire universe crumbled because he got bit by that spider.
Mm-hmm.
A new level of responsibility.
Yeah.
I just was like, that was the coolest thing they could have done.
Yeah. And that whole thing, you're thinking Spot's this, huge, universe-shattering being, when in reality, the potential universe-shattering event was just not letting the cop die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, wow.
And you think that big hole is like Spot's doing, and it's not.
Yeah.
That's just the universe collapsing in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just nuts.
Because the cop didn't die.
Yeah. Okay.
What if, Miguel just shot the cop? Would the universe fix itself?
Whoa! That would have been
what if the third one
crazy.
was just Miguel, going crazy and, doing all of the heinous shit that happens to Spider-Man?
That, has to happen.
Has to happen in other universes, and he's just I'm going to make sure it always happens.
That's cool.
So that the universe doesn't collapse in on itself.
Hey, you heard it here first, folks. Luke might just have, the best theory yet on what the
I
third
would not
one's
be
gonna
surprised at all if Miguel tries to kill Miles' dad.
No, yeah. But there are so many loose ends.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, it could be him. It could be Spot. It could be, there are so many new variables that have to be tied up by the end of whatever the next movie is.
Yeah. So anyway, all this shit happens. They go to Earth, whatever, Nuevo York.
Yeah.
I can't remember which dimension it is.
But then this is where the main issue comes, and we learn about what the canon events are.
Yeah, and we also see a whole lot of spider people.
Yeah.
Now my question to Alex is: do you have a favorite spider person?
Yes,
I have two favorite spider people.
I know one of yours because I wasn't even really aware of one of them, but my favorite was Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, when Spectacular Spider-Man was in there.
And it was Josh Keaton. It was like
Yeah.
the voice actor, and I was
Spectacular Spider-Man's like the shorter one,
yeah,
right?
the super short
yeah.
one. And they used like the animation style.
Yeah,
too.
it
I
was really
like,
cool to see him.
wow.
Yeah.
That was really neat. Seeing Scarlet Spider was really cool too. Ben Reilly. And also like in that scene when Miguel's explaining, you get the live action stuff too. You see like all the live action Uncle Ben's.
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
And that was neat. And Prowler. You got to see Donald Glover be Prowler.
Yeah.
It was fucking cool.
Which was cool.
But
well, and weren't they like when Donald Glover was like younger, they were like he's gonna be Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like they also threw that in there.
Yeah.
Too.
But yeah, that was really my favorite was Spectacular.
And that's
Spider-Man,
kind of like a little tease, to what the ending ends up being.
Yeah.
Too, right? When you see Donald Glover, the guy who people wanted to play Miles Morales, as Prowler instead.
Yeah.
In the
Well, he played that character in the MCU.
Oh, he was Prowler?
He was Aaron Davis, the uncle in Homecoming.
Okay. Yeah.
He's like, I have a nephew who lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So
But he wasn't
I don't know
actually
if that
Prowler
was a
in it.
continuation of that character or if that was just like a Prowler variant.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could have been a lot of things, but I was like, that's cool.
Fair.
But who was your favorite?
I had two favorites. I really like Lego Spider-Man. Just because,
That
like,
was so
they're going
cool.
through all the motions, and Miguel's like, thanks, Peter. You're one of our best. And he's just a little Lego guy.
But and like I told Luke, I was like, my only question is, he didn't go back to like the Spider Society place. How big is he in comparison to the rest of those?
Yeah, like, is he
Spider
Lego
people?
sized or is he huge?
Yeah. Even if he's person sized, that boy is thicker than a Snicker. Period.
Damn, he's got that SpongeBob SquarePants build.
Yeah.
And then my favorite was Peter Parked car. From Earth like 14,596 or whatever the goddamn number was.
Peter parked car.
I can't believe that you didn't notice it in the movie.
I think the lady was walking in front of me when the little title card appeared.
Dude, I fucking loved Peter Parked car. When they're like, we got a job for you guys. Hitch a ride. And like the four random spider people hopped into. I like the random spiders that were also doing like crazy feats of strength. Like that one lady spider that was doing like the fucking... She was like squatting that giant fucking like concrete stone or whatever the fuck it was.
That was cool.
And Miles just like kicked her so it fell on everyone.
But going back just a little bit, and we're not going to do, you're right, we are just telling the story. There's just so much to gush about. But the conversation that Miguel has with Miles is by far the most important thing that happens in this movie. Because, like, you know, Miles' canon event and everyone's canon event is, like, the captain has to die as part of the canon event. They're like, at first it's like your uncle, then it has to be the captain. And Miles is like, my dad's the captain, or going to be the captain. And he's like, when is it going to happen? And Miguel's just like, in 2 days. And all the spider people come in and they're like, you don't know if they're there to comfort him
and
at
that's
first.
when you feel like it's this is a trap.
Yeah.
Like they're here to contain you here now because you know too much.
Yeah. But like that conversation is so important. Like, what would you have done? Because you have to like, I mean, that's your dad.
Yeah.
But they're like, you know how many people Spider-Man has saved, and it's because of certain losses. Mm-hmm. And even Peter B. Parker, who's like my favorite Spider-Man in like these movies, is like, I have to agree with him.
Yeah.
That like we don't get to be who we are and help so many people if bad things don't happen. He's like, don't worry, good things happen too, though. Mm-hmm. Like it all balances out, but this sucks, and this is what it has to be.
Yeah.
What would you have done in that situation? What would you have said?
I would have saved my dad.
But like, what would you have said though? You know what I mean? Like, would you have just been like, can I just like go hang out with him for a day or two? Or,
yeah, that's what I would probably do.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let me just go back though.
Yeah. Like,
I won't do anything. I'll go back though.
I'd be like, I just wanna play football.
You have any like big Spider-Man weapons? Any chance? Like, just try to get him promoted to chief. instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just make him quit.
I'm gonna kill the chief and make a power vacuum that my dad can climb through the ranks.
Be like, look, I'm Spider-Man. If I hit him in the jaw just right, I can put him in a coma.
And then he'll never be captain. God damn.
At least he won't be
If
dead.
I take his legs away from him, he'll never know. God. I really don't know what I would have done.
But I think that's why this is such a good scene too.
Yeah.
Because it is like Miguel isn't wrong,
No.
and also like Miles is just a kid and wants to save his dad.
Yeah, he's 15.
You know. So like,
And you're like, your dad has to die, though. Sorry.
that's crazy. It's crazy. But then I guess my question.
Well, and also Gwen has, like, accepted that her dad's gonna die in her universe, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Like, she has. Her dad is the police captain.
Yeah. And dies in almost every universe. She's like aware of it.
Yeah. And she's like... Maybe that's one of the reasons that she also doesn't go back for so long, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that is also now a universe without a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
pretty wild. So we get a big Spider-Man chase. You've seen it in the trailers.
Chase was awesome. I mean, I don't really have a ton to say about the chase. We get a lot of other cool like spider cameos and stuff that happen throughout it. I love just like the animalistic nature of Miguel's Spider-Man though.
The claws and
Like
the
he's crawling,
jumping,
like
crawling,
yeah,
like-
he's like a beast.
yeah.
And like the moment when he's like, it's cool seeing Miguel like try to do so much to like hold back his inner rage.
Yeah.
Like he just has that in him. And that moment where he catches Miles like right before he's about to get on the train to like go to the moon or whatever the hell it is.
No,
Or what
dude.
is that train? Where is that going?
It's going to the moon.
It is going to the moon.
But like
Okay.
when Miguel has
And
Miles
he's just like
on
bashing
the train,
him and the
and like Miles is just trying to get him off of him, and he's like, "No, you're not go." And like, it looked like bad. It looked scary.
oh yeah.
Miles is like, "Get off, get off!" And like Gwen and Peter, they're like, "Yo, stop!"
Yeah, and Miguel's just like pounding him further and further into the
Yeah.
tram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was nasty. I also like the spider T-Rex.
The Spider T-Rex is great.
Went thwip.
Yeah. That was really cool. Spider Rex. Who's the cop in his universe?
Yeah,
Who's the
right?
police captain there? Who's Peter parked cars?
That's the Velocicopter,
The Velocicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vicasiraptor,
Vicasa.
Vicaporaptor,
Vicapa. The policeman.
the policeman. Yeah, so we get, Miguel is like beating the shit out of Miles. And Miles is like, "No, I'm gonna do my own thing." And then he like shocks Miguel's suit, goes flying away.
I also like how the art style on like Miguel kind of changes up a little bit too there.
yeah.
I wasn't sure like exactly what they were trying to do with that.
I think it's because his suit is like very nanotech, and Miles was using his electric powers, so it was just kind of disrupting the suit.
I see.
You know what I mean? Because his claws went away,
Yeah.
so he couldn't like use his claws. Or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. But also Hobie like leaves.
Yeah, we left Hobie out for a while there.
But I love Hobie because Hobie's really encouraging Miles to get pissed the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like that's the best. He's like, "Oh, this sucks, man. Do something," and then just leaves.
Yeah, yeah.
I told Luke earlier.
I also like Miles' little wristband that like they normally just give to kids.
Yeah. I told Luke though my favorite little point in this is when the hole opens in Mumbattan and Hobie's like, "Oh, look, it's a metaphor for capitalism." I think that's the funniest joke in this movie. But so yeah, Miles gets away. We're not gonna go through the whole fight thing, but whatever. But Miles gets away and goes to a universe, and we're kind of wrapping up.
Let's
here.
also talk about the spider that weaves people like
yeah
into these dimensions. I love the design of that so much. It's like so creepy looking.
yeah.
But doesn't really hurt anybody. It does like hold you in place though if you try to.
It looks scary.
It does. It looks fine if you're willing to leave. If you're not wanting to go, that would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Like especially when they put Gwen in it to send her back when she gets like
It's
kicked
like
out.
holding her arms.
Yeah,
and
and
her
it's like
legs and stuff,
pinning her down. That was fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we send Miles back.
And Miles had a really smart plan to get back too.
Yeah, he did.
Like because he lured them all away, he was able to get right back in.
It's like
super
everyone
easily.
forgot that he could turn invisible too.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I'm not gonna turn invisible.
Well,
yet.
and he can turn. Talk about a good power against spider people. He can turn invisible, and they can't sense him with their spider senses.
as long as he's not intentionally causing harm.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Then it's like
Crazy.
It's so cool. So he goes back to a universe, and we're just gonna kind of wrap up the main points of this. Where like he goes back, he tells his quote unquote mother that he's Spider-Man, and she's like, "What is Spider-Man?" And basically, you find out that he ended up in the wrong universe. He ended up in the universe that the spider that bit him
Is
came
from because that's
Yeah.
where his DNA's basically from now.
Yeah. Fuck, so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And Gwen goes back to
And that's and was he glitching in that universe?
a little bit.
I
Yeah.
think he does start glitching
Yeah.
near the end. Yeah.
Yeah, he starts glitching, and he doesn't have any way to move through dimensions.
Yeah, he's stuck.
Gwen is granted a watch by Hobie, who was like, if you want to leave, here's your chance or whatever. And
Yeah, but she does get sent back. She gets sent back to her home dimension, and she has an interaction with her father.
yeah, which was steep.
Yeah, he's quit the Force. Doesn't see a point in it anymore. He has finally kind of come to terms with everything.
Yeah.
This is where I was talking about that, like, sort of, like, when you're talking about the watercolors and everything.
Yeah.
I love that conversation that they're having where it's just them, and it looks like the entire apartment is just, like, in complete shambles and disarray.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, that, like, stark white background behind them, basically, and they're just, like, watercolor drawings.
And you like hear
in it.
rain, and it's
Yeah.
just like you kind of see sometimes little
Yeah, getting
strings
through the
of
paper.
paint, yeah.
Which is really cool. Anyway, yeah.
So she leaves that universe and goes to Miles' universe where 2099 is there, Scarlet Spider's there, Jessica Drew is there, and they're all trying to find Miles, but they think he's in that universe, but he's not.
And they did such a good job of making it all feel like it was in the same
Yeah,
place.
yeah, for sure.
Because that like realization is so good, and I think the realization mainly happens when his uncle comes
Comes
home.
to the door, yeah.
Yeah,
And it looked so shady. Everything that was happening was
Yeah.
so shady. Like, he was like, I'm going to go talk to your mom, and she's like, thanks for keeping the roof over our head. And you're like, what are you doing? What is happening?
yeah,
I thought they were doing, like, drug deals.
yeah. It seemed like she was pulling pills out from the hospital and shit.
Yeah. And so Uncle Aaron is like, so, like, all right, bye, Rio. And he's like, come with me. And I guess they have a plan to rob something somewhere. And he very quickly discovers that that's not his Miles. Gets knocked out. Miles is, like, strapped up to a punching bag like he is in the first one, the first movie. And little baby Prowler comes down from the rafters and takes his mask off, and it's the Miles from that universe as the Prowler, where Jefferson Davis is dead and there's never been a Spider-Man.
Yeah. I also just love how, like, when he realizes it, when he's, like, on the roof, he, like, gets out before he gets knocked out by the Prowler.
Yeah.
And
He
like,
sees like the graffiti.
yeah, and, like, things are burning, and it's, like, rest in power, like, Jefferson. What's his name again?
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson. Is his name actually Jefferson Davis?
I think so, yeah. Unless I'm wrong.
That would be
That's what it is in the video game.
that would be crazy that his name is Jefferson Davis. You know Jefferson Davis is the name of the guy that was president of the Confederate States of America?
What?
Yes.
No
That's
way.
why every time you've said that, I'm like, are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I think it's Jeff Davis.
That's crazy.
I have to look it up now. Jefferson Davis, Spider-Man. Yeah, Jefferson Davis. Well, that's the video game one. Maybe his name is... No, Rio
No, it's
Morales,
probably right.
Aaron
Yeah.
Davis. Yeah.
That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they really did Jefferson Davis. They named him after the president of the Confederacy. Stan
No,
Lee.
Stan Lee didn't do that. He would never. But yeah, man, this movie is a journey. Even just we talked about it for a long time, but like, I feel like I just went on the journey again, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's so good.
And like Gwen gets all the spider people back together by the end of this. And like
They're gonna save Miles.
our old friends, Spider Noir and Spider
Ham.
And...
We get a tease about the Sinister Six, the Sinister Six cartel that runs Manhattan's Earth 42, like Earth 42 is Manhattan,
Yeah.
basically, or Brooklyn, or all of New York, I guess. Yeah,
Nah, man. I can't gush about this movie enough.
So good.
The most shocking thing was like how much it took from the first one and having the realization like, oh, this was meant to be a trilogy.
It really upped the ante.
It
Yeah,
knew
definitely.
they've known from the beginning where it was going to end. You know what I mean? You can feel it.
It
And I
feels
love
good.
that.
Yeah.
Let's rate this movie and be done with her because I could talk about this forever, but
Yeah.
I know you don't have time and yeah. Oh my god, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
That's fair, for sure.
Period.
My favorite Spider-Man movies are definitely the first one and this one.
And this one, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I've never seen a sequel done so
I feel like the third one
elegantly.
will probably be my favorite.
Yeah. But like I've never seen a sequel done so well. Ever.
It's crazy.
Not once.
Yeah.
Which was great. I'm gonna give this a 9.9 out of
Wow, a 9.9.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9.6.
Okay.
Yeah. This is very much like of like one of the best sequels for sure.
Yeah.
It's like this is like The Empire Strikes Back to A New Hope.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But for Spider-Man.
And
I think.
like the more you can think, like you couldn't put this movie in live action. This just shows like where animation takes its place in
Yeah.
media.
And they're made by human people.
Yeah.
What if the third Spider-Verse movie is made by AI?
I promise you'd be able to tell. I promise you would.
You probably would.
You can't like.
And don't let it happen. Listen, Sony,
can't-
if you're listening, don't do that.
No, you can't replicate the passion behind this. You can't replicate the love of every single character and, the different art styles and the story itself and the very character-driven moments and, the things that really change the characters and even from the first movie, like Peter B. Parker has a baby, and the fact that is like we could talk about it, but we didn't need to. That's so cool. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
They're like, we have other story to tell, so just let's do that first.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very high rating for me. This is more than a steak for me. I don't know. It is a steak. I'm gonna give it just like a T-bone. I've been marinating it for 2 entire days.
This is a delicious beef patty from every dimension.
This is the one I've
From every version of
waiting
Brooklyn.
for all summer. 4th of July is coming up.
Oof. Yeah.
I want it on a paper plate with some baked mac and cheese.
And you know that the good version of Jefferson Davis is the one on the grill.
Yes.
You know?
And it's awesome.
Miles' dad seems like he can grill the shit out of some food.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like he was the grill master.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt.
At his own function.
At his own function.
They were like, you still gotta
The
cook,
balls
homie.
on that man, dude.
He really must
A
be
fucking
then.
Adonis, dude.
No, it was awesome. What do you want to give it? Oh, did you say
Yeah.
a beef patty from every...
A beef patty from every dimension.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, cool. That wraps up Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Woo!
Oh, what a treat. What a treat. Let us know what you guys thought. Always feel free to message us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bucket of Beef Show. And make sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Bucket of Beef Show, where you get access to newest a horror review series, a review of The Last of Us, early access to our newest episodes. And I'm doing this all off the dome.
And our undying gratitude and love.
Yeah, and extra votes or whatever.
And extra votes.
And extra votes.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into our Patreon shoutouts?
Yeah, let me pull it up just 1 second.
I'm trying to be as quick about this as humanly possible because I'm always so slow with it. I'm ready.
Okay, go.
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
I think. Maybe a little bit. Never mind.
Why?
Hold on.
Oh, God.
I couldn't find it.
What's happening? All right, shout out to Amanda,
Steven,
Jason,
Jennifer,
Victor,
Julia,
Dina,
Dwight,
Julia L,
Adam,
Brittany,
Olga,
Rick,
Nicole,
Nikita,
and the most spectacular of all the Spider-Men, Nicholas!
Nick actually texted me yesterday and said he accidentally canceled his subscription to the Patreon.
What the fuck?
And then promptly subscribed. Yeah, Yeah, we're glad to have you back, Nick. It's even better the second time.
Yes. It's always great getting the notification.
Yes. Thank you.
As long as you're always here, we're going to keep
I
making
mean, we're
this
never
podcast.
going to let you go at this point, buddy. You're in too deep.
Yes. Well, thank you again, everyone, for listening as much as you have. This is our mid-season finale. We've done 20 episodes.
Oof.
And this was a long one.
This was.
Thanks again, guys. We will be back in a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks.
As we regroup and reorient. Luke is still doing his show in Pennsylvania.
Beautiful Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Which I'm sure is going wonderfully. I cannot wait to have him back and doing this every day. But
every single day.
He's
every
doing
night.
the good work. And we love him for it. And yeah. He just had a birthday recently, too, so make sure to give him a big ol' happy birthday if you haven't already. Also, if you could, leave us a review.
Yeah.
Wherever you listen, leave us a review.
Preferably a 5-star review.
Yes. No. We have one really, really bad review. It's just one
They
one-star
didn't even
review.
say anything.
Yeah, I wish they would say something.
Tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
We'll improve. We'll try.
But yes, we're going to get out of here.
My name is Luke Hodson.
My name is Alex Morrison.
And we'll see you in the web of summer.
Hit it with the outro. Spider-Man.
Spider car driving down the highway.
There's a spider T-Rex, and he's running down the street.
There ain't no F train.
He has
because
3 little
it's just
fingers.
about spider car. He has hands. What?
Spider cat
car.
who spits webs out of its mouth.
Spider car. Spider car.
There's
It's
really
the room
thick,
and the
thick,
room and the
thick,
room and the room.
thick
All
girl with
these
the big
villains
spider
gonna
butt.
get their doom.
Lots of villains.
Villains with ass.
Mm-mm.
Villains with class.
Oh.
Villains with
mass.
sass. Is that a Kingpin shout out?
Yeah. Ending of the pod.
He's a liar. He's a liar.
Beef.
Bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the bucket.
Bottom of the bucket.
Yeah.
Beef.
Seasoned to perfection.
Divine.
Too wet.
Beef.
It's a masterpiece, baby.